Hello. Barakabah Bashim Yahuah. Have you ever noticed that there is a distinct correlation or parallel or shadowing between Moshah and Yahusha and the children of Yisrael and the end times or the tribulation years? Let's have a conversation about that. Very interesting, really, that Yahusha made reference to Moshah quite a bit, and it's a very, very interesting that the shadowing of Moshah and Yahusha may give us a very clear picture of when or if we are in the latter days. So in John chapter 5, verse 37, it says, we read Yahusha saying, "And the Father who sent me, he bore witness of me. You have neither heard his voice at any time, nor seen his form. And you do not have his word staying in you, because you do not believe him whom he sent. You search the scriptures because you think you possess everlasting life in them. And these are the ones that bear witness of me. But you do not desire to come to me in order to possess life. I do not receive esteem from men, but I know you, that you do not have the love of Yahuwah in you. I have come in my Father's name, and you do not receive me. If another comes in his own name, him you would receive. How are you able to believe when you are receiving esteem from one another? And the esteem that is from the only Yahuwah you do not seek. Do you think that I shall accuse you to the Father? There is one who accuses you, Moses, in whom you have set your hope. For if you believe Moshah, you would have believed me, since he wrote about me. But if you do not believe his writings, how shall you believe my words?" Very interesting correlation there, isn't there? So let's talk about that just a little bit. When Moshah led the children of Israel out of Egypt, and then they went to the Sea of Reeds and went through the sea, right? Well, the sea parted. The children of Israel left Egypt, or left their unstained lifestyle, their slavery, if you will, to sin and death, walked through the water, was immersed through the waters, and went to the other side. They crossed over, became Hebrew, right? And then when the children of darkness began to follow, the waters actually collapsed upon them and drowned them. So there's a correlation there in between that and our water immersion. And but it don't stop there. Okay, it takes a few twists and turns, as we're going to see. So then they venture on, finally ending up at Sinai, Mount Sinai, and Moses goes up onto the mountain to seek instructions from Yahuwah, while everybody else stayed back except for Yahusha, which would be later on would become known as Yahusha or Joshua, if you will, and he was renamed by Moses later on. But he went up, but he didn't go all the way up. He stopped about halfway and just sat there and waited for him. So anyway, as Moses was on top of Sinai, getting instructions from Yahuwah for the children of Israel, the children below that remained back became very impatient, and they began to grumble. They began to mock, and started being scoffers and mockers, running around saying, well, where is he? Where is he? Where is Moses? Nobody can survive that long without food or water. He must be dead. Where is he? Where's Moses? Where's these instructions from, Yah that he's supposed to bring back to us? Apparently, Yah has forgotten us and Moses is dead. Where is he? Where is he? Where is his promise? And where is he? Why is he not coming? And so they lost patience, and we know that Moses was up on Mount Sinai for 40 days. And so toward the end, the children of Israel lost it, and they began returning back to their old pagan ways. Even though they were water immersed through the Sea of Reed, they started backsliding, returned back to Egypt, if you will. They started making idols. They made the calf of gold. Even Aaron, the brother of Moses, formed the idol. And they began worshiping the idol, and they started having wild parties and getting drunk and fornication, and just went nuts, just like they would behavior they had in Egypt in the darkness before Yahuwah brought them out. And so eventually then Moses comes back down and meets Joshua, if you will. And they come down, and then Joshua blows the horn, and everything stops when they hear the horn blow. Moses says he's got the instructions from Yahuwah. Whoever's willing to come with him and be Yisrael and partake in the wedding with Yahusha, become one with Yahusha and his people, come to me. And so a certain portion of them migrated over toward where Moses was, and the others did not. And they rebelled and stayed stubborn, and they were enjoying their return back into the world of darkness, disobedience, if you will. And so then Moses throws the commandments written on the stone, breaks them apart, says they're not worthy of it to be Yahusha's bride, chosen people. And then we know that an earthquake came and opened up the ground and swallowed them all up, and they all fell in there and died. And then the rest of them continued to wander about. Of course, Moses had to chisel out some new tablets, and he made an ark of wood and to put them in. But he took them back up the mountain, got the Yahuwah wrote them down with his finger again on the tablets that Moses formed, brought them down, put them in the makeshift ark, and they began on their 40 years journey or wandering in the wilderness like aimless vagabonds, basically, as they were waiting for Yahuwah to lead them into the promised land, which very few were allowed to go. Not even Moses was allowed to enter over. Okay? And so finally, Moses dies. Yahusha, Joshua, Yahusha takes over, leads the children across the Jordan and into the promised land, and the whole story goes from there. Okay, so what's that got to do with Yahusha? Well, a great deal, believe it or not. We're, called out of the world by Yahusha. When we hear his voice, we come out of the world. He delivers us with a strong right hand and an outstretched arm, as he did the children of Israel. And we become water immersed and cleaned up. And then we receive the covenant, a renewed covenant on our hearts, but he does it in a new way. Instead of carrying them around in the Ark of the Covenant, they're carried around in us, and we become his temple, and he indwells us, inscribes them on our inward parts. So, basically, if you will, it's foreshadowing us. We're sitting at the base of Mount Sinai, right? Waiting on the return of Yahusha. And Yahusha's like Moses. He's up on the hill, up on the mountain, and getting instructions. In this case, he's preparing a place, right, for his bride. And we await him, like the children of Israel was awaiting Moses to come down off of the Mount Sinai. So in the meantime, it's taken a long time, and the people grow restless. Many of them leave their obedient positions and lose patience, and they go back into Egypt, back into the world, and start living an unclean lifestyle again and get dirtied back up. They start doing, they become idolaters again. Okay, just like the children of Israel did. And now it's getting down close to the time where Yahusha's going to return, just like it was getting close to the time for Moses to come down the mountain, although they didn't know he was coming or when he was coming, and neither do we know when he's coming. Okay, so that's about the stage where everything's at right now. And the people are running around saying what we were told they would say. Where is he? Where is he? Why does he delay? It's been 2,000 years and he hasn't showed up yet. Where is he? Where is this Yahusha you talk about? Maybe something happened to him. Maybe he's not coming. So they run out and they're doing what they want to do. Partying, having wild parties, fornication, being disobedient, worried, self-absorbed, pursuing other things, returning back into idolaters, just like the children of Israel did. So the scripture tells us that in the end times, there will be mockers and grumblers, that's going to be saying this. and it's happening right in front of our eyes. So that's a good indication that it's getting close to the time when Moses was coming down off of Mount Sinai, and the people were grumbling and complaining and mocking and went wild, started going wild, and returned back to Egypt, which is the world, darkness, as what's going on now. Yahusha, it's getting close for Yahusha to come back down from where he ascended, and the people are being impatient, starting to mock and scoff and going wild, returning back into fornication and the world, and going crazy and mocking. Where is he? Where is he? He's not here. Something must have happened. So, hey, we can do whatever we want. He's not coming. He's delayed. Something happened. Maybe he's not even real. Mocking, scoffers, complainers, grumblers, just like when the children of Israel were doing that right before Moses actually came back down with Yahuwah's instructions and returned back down to the camp. So there's where we're at, and it's a great parallel, really, of Moses, and Yahusha does refer to that quite a bit. So let's study Scripture a little bit more about that, so we can get a clearer picture of where are we at in these latter days. What's going on? So in Hosea 8:7 it says, "For they sow the wind and reap the whirlwind. The stalk has no bud, it yields no grain. It does not yield, strangers swallow it up. Yisrael has been swallowed up. They have now become among the nations as a vessel in which is no pleasure." And think about that. Israel has been swallowed up. It's like the children of Israel swallowed up, right? When they didn't choose to follow Yahuwah. After Moses come down and broke those tablets, right? They were swallowed up. Hosea 6:2 says, "After 2 Yamim days, he shall revive us." So how long is all this going to go on? For 2 days, or 2,000 years. Because 1 day is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is 1 day. So all this thing that's going on at the base of Mount Sinai, when Moses was up there and they were waiting on him and they lost patience, started going wild, is what's going on today. But how long is all this going to happen? The king left, right? Or the great prophet left, like Moshah, and the people are getting restless now. It's getting down toward the end when he should be coming back, but they don't know it. So how long will it go on? For 2,000 years. From the point where he left till he comes back. After 2 days or 2,000 years, he shall revive us. On the 3rd day, he shall raise us up so that we live before him, or we see his presence. So let us pursue to know Yahuwah. His going forth is as certain as the morning, and he comes to us like the rain, like the latter rain, watering the earth. Okay? So, it's been 2,000 years, and we're hearing the scoffers. So we have to be getting close to the 3rd day. Okay? The 1,000-year, 3rd section of 1,000 year, the millennium reign. We have to be getting very close to that, because it's what happened at the Sinai is happening now. It's shadowing it. If we go to Malachi 4, we read, "For look, the day shall come, burning like a furnace, and all the proud and every wrongdoer shall be stubble. And the day that shall come shall burn them up, said Yahuwah, which leaves to them neither root nor branch. But to you who fear my name, the servant of righteousness shall arise with healing in his wings. And you shall go out and leap for joy like calves from the stall. And you shall trample the wrongdoers, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet on the day that I do this, said Yahuwah. Remember the Torah of Moses. Ah, that's interesting, isn't it? Remember the Torah of Moses. Remember what happened with Moses when he went up to get the Torah? See that connection right there? My servant, which I commanded him in Corrib for all Yisrael, laws and right rulings. So I am sending you Elijah, or Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and awesome Yom of Yahuwah, which we know was John the Baptist, or Yahuchanan the Immerser. And he shall turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with utter destruction. So this is all, could be that it's speaking of the two witnesses, okay? But it could also be different levels. It could be referencing both, Yahuchanan the Immerser, and then later on, he shadows the two witnesses in the tribulation years. It could be that deep. But the thing of it is, though, is this: remember the Torah of Moshah, my servant. That really is, kind of showing you that particular story in the Torah of Moses and Mount Sinai and what happened there is probably just telling you that's going to be what's happening in the last days, because it starts off speaking about the tribulation days. At the end of the tribulation years, the day of Yahuwah, right? So pretty interesting there. I mean, it also, like I said, it could be different levels of insight there, where it's saying that if you want to be one of the calves that are jumping around on the wrongdoer, ashes of the wrongdoers, the thing that you should be doing is obeying Torah, or your marriage covenant, being true and trustworthy and obedient to your husband, Yahuwah. So let's go to Jude. Jude says, 1:16. These are grumblers, complainers, who walk around in their own lusts. That's what they were doing at the bottom of Sinai while Moses was still up on the mountain getting instructions. And that's what they're going to be doing in the last days as we're waiting on the return of the king, right? Or the return of the prophet, Yahusha. And their mouth speaks proudly, admiring faces for the sake of gain. So they're going to be deceivers. They're going to look good on the outside, but inwardly they're doing it just for the sake of gain. But you, beloved ones, remember the words spoken before by the emissaries of our Master Yahusha Mashiach, because they told you that there would be mockers in the last time, who would walk according to their own wicked lusts. These are the ones who cause divisions, not having the Ruach. But you, loved ones, building yourselves up on your most set-apart belief, praying in the Ruach HaKodesh. Keep yourselves in the love of Yahuwah, looking for the compassion of our Master Yahusha Mashiach to everlasting life. So, this is telling us, basically describing what was going on at the base of Sinai prior to Moses' descension back down the mountain with instructions of Yahuwah. But here it's talking about the later times or the latter days. That's what's going to be going on as we're waiting upon the return of the King and his ascension back down to the Mount of Olives. See that? James says, let me see. So then, my brothers, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath, for the wrath of man does not work the uprightness of Elohim. Therefore put away all filthiness and overflow of evil, and receive with meekness the implanted word, which is able to save your lives. So here we find out that the ones that received or were waiting and receiving the word, okay, that could save your life, okay, are the ones that are going to be left into the covenant. You know, they're not going to be the ones that were destroyed like the wicked, the ones that went back into Egypt. See what I'm saying? So, let's go to Luke 24:44. Luke 24:44 says, and he said to them, these are the words which I spoke to you while I was still with you, that all have to be concluded that were written in the Torah of Moses and the prophets and the Psalms concerning me. Then he opened their minds to understand the Scriptures. So, all the things that were written in the Torah of Moses, again, he mentions that, and the prophets and the Psalms concerning me. So, this, on a spiritual sense, is telling us that everything that was written in the book of Moses, what Moses did, his life coming out of Egypt, going through the Red Sea, baptism, going to Sinai, getting the instructions, coming down, taking a long time, the mockers and the grumblers, is about him. That's all about him. It's foreshadowing him and what would happen when he came. That's what that's telling us spiritually, if you just read it again. And he said to them, these are the words which I spoke to you while I was still with you, that all have to be concluded. See, everything has to be concluded that was written in the Torah of Moshah and the prophets and the Psalms concerning me. See, concerning me. Then he opened their minds to understand the Scriptures, to understand that everything that was happened to Moses and the children of Israel was concerning him, even into the latter days. Okay, and that's where we're at right now. We're at the bottom of everybody says, so we're waiting. The Israel is waiting at the bottom of Mount Sinai, waiting on the return of the prophet, the great prophet, the king. Okay, and the mockers and the grumblers and the disobedient and the ones that are returning back to idolatry is all happening all around us. Now, where's he at? Where's he at? It's been 2,000 years. He ain't come to something happened to him up there. You know, Yahuwah has forgotten about us. His prophet's dead. Let's go party. Let's return back to Egypt. Make idols for themselves. Bound down to idols. Right? See that? So that's what he was kind of telling us. So let's go to 2 Peter 3. This is now, beloved ones, the second letter I write to you, in which I stir up your sincere mind, to remember the words previously spoken by the set-apart prophets, and of the command of the Master and Deliverer, spoken by your emissaries. Knowing this first, that mockers shall come in the last days, with mocking, walking around to their own lusts, and saying, where's the promise of his coming? See that? Where's the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all continues as from the beginning of creation. So there you go. It's just a repeat of what happened with Moshah and the children of Israel. That's all it is. So everything's pointing at we're very close to the second coming of Yahusha. Because if we follow that pattern that we are given and Yahusha spoke about, that was written concerning him in the book of Moshah, prophets and the Psalms, the writings, the Tanakh, basically. And then and he opens up our minds to see, to understand the scriptures, we can start to see that, hey, this is your evidence, this is your, secret plan or secret information that you can look at and see what's going on. Those that are in the latter days. Okay? So look at Moshah, see what happened, and it's foreshadowing what's going to happen into your days, into the later times, into your times. And in this way you know what's happening with Yahusha. So it's pretty apparent that we're at the point where the children of Israel are losing it, and they're losing their patience, and they're returning back into wickedness, idolaters, and listening to falsehood and false teachers and troublemakers and mockers and grumblers and scoffers about where is he, how he hasn't returned, he's not real, stuff like that. Well, what happened? It wasn't much. Once they started going nuts and partying and made that golden calf and returned back to wickedness, okay, like they were in Egypt, it wasn't much longer. They heard that blast, the trumpet blast, and Moses was standing down there at the bottom of the mountain with those instructions. See that? So we're getting real close to the return of the king. Just like they didn't know Moses was coming. They were down there partying and laughing and carrying on. Don't believe he ain't coming. Ain't no way he could be coming after this long a time. And that's what people are doing now. So it's just as Moses appeared at the bottom of the mountain, Yahusha's going to appear in the clouds. And nobody's going to even realize that he's going to come like a thief in the night. All of a sudden, bam, there you go. Whoa! All right. And just as the followers of YAHUAH came over to the side of Moshah, okay, and the rest of them were destroyed, that's what's going to happen. He's going to resurrect the dead, and the ones that remain, they will all be given their mortal bodies and caught up together with him in the clouds as he descends. The rest of them will be destroyed. Few men will be left. Okay? And so that's what's going to happen. It's basically the same thing. It's foreshadowing that. It's which does really everything in Scripture does that. It starts foreshadowing it. Everything that you read in there is happening now. There's nothing new under the sun. So if it's being revealed at a higher level or in more light, it's being revealed to us in the latter days. But if you really consider it, it's foreshadowing what's already happened, just coming out in a different way, right? So I say the return of the King is soon. So repent, for the reign of Yahuwah is near to you. Thank you for watching, and remember to stay in love with Yahusha. Bonus feature time. Hebrews 1:1. Yahuwah, having of old spoken in many portions and many ways to the fathers by the prophets, has in these last days spoken to us by the Son, whom he has appointed heir of all, through whom also he made the ages, who being the brightness of the esteem and the exact representation of his substance, and sustaining all by the word of his power, having made a cleansing of our sins through himself, sat down at the right hand of the greatness on high, having become so much better than the messengers, and he has inherited a more excellent name than them. Yahuwah, having of old spoken in many portions and many ways to the fathers by the prophets, and in these last days spoken to us by the Son. So here's a connection between the prophets of old and Yahusha. Go to Hebrews 3. Hebrews 3. Therefore, Kodesh brothers, partakers of the heavenly calling, closely consider the emissary and high priest of our confession, Mashiach Yahusha, who was trustworthy to him who appointed him, as also Moses, or Moshah, in all his house. So here's another correlation or comparison to Yahusha and Moses. Find it throughout Scripture. For this one has been deemed worthy of more esteem than Moshah, as much as he who built the house enjoys more respect than the house. Well, here we're talking about Yahusha is the builder, right? For every house is built by someone, but he who built all is Yahuwah. And Moshah indeed was trustworthy in all his house as a servant, for a witness of what would be spoken later. See that? So Moses is a witness of what's going to be spoken later. So it's a shadow of what's coming later in the later days. But Mashiach as a son over his own house, whose house we are in, we are if we hold fast the boldness and the boasting of the hope firm to the end. Therefore, as the Ruach HaKodesh says, today if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts as in the rebellion, in the day of trial in the desert, where your fathers tried me, proved me, and saw my works 40 years. So here we're going back to the days of Moses. He's comparing. Therefore I was grieved with that generation, and said, they always go astray in their heart, and they have not known my ways. As I swore in my wrath, if they shall enter into my rest. Look out, brothers, lest there be in any of you a wicked heart of unbelief in falling away from the living Yahuwah. But encourage one another daily while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened by the deceitfulness of sin. For we have become partakers of Mashiach if we hold fast the beginning of our trust firm to the end. While it is said, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts as in the rebellion. For who, having heard, rebelled? Was it not all who came out of Egypt, led by Moshah? See? And with whom was he grieved 40 years? Was it not with those who sinned, whose corpses fell in the wilderness? And to whom did he answer? And to whom did he swear that they would not enter into his rest? But to those who did not obey? So we see that they were unable to enter in because of unbelief. All right. So this is sort of the same deal that we were just talking about, that we can correlate what happened with Moses and the children of Israel that was brought out of bondage to the children of Yahuwah, or the bride of Yahusha, that is being brought out of bondage of sin and death and entering to, waiting on Yahusha went up, okay, and we're waiting on him to come back. Basically, same deal. You can reference it. Give you a really good idea what's going on right now in these latter days. So, thank you for watching, and I hope this is sinking in a little bit of how the foreshadowing of Moses and the Israelites is really in reference to what's going on in the latter times. Okay, so thank you for watching, and stay in love with Yahusha. Bonus feature 2 time. Okay, so we found out that, we should have started acknowledging by now that we too have been freed from Egypt by the right hand, the mighty right hand, and the outstretched arm of Yahuwah. It's brought us out of the world, right? Through the water and the blood, cleaned us up, gave us his Torah, written in our hearts. He indwells us. We are his temple. And we carry the 10 Debarim around in our heart, inscribed on our heart. So we are the Ark of the Covenant, carrying the 10 Debarim around. We're his temple. So he chose us to be his temple, right? Not the temple made with stones and wood by hands. All right? But spiritually, we're the temple made by the hand of Yahuwah. Okay, so there's a lot of different correlation between what's going on and what was happening in the Torah, prophets, and the Psalms. Now, is there anything besides comparing our what's going on in the later days to Moshah. Is there any other examples in the Torah or Tanakh relating to what's going on in the latter days? And the answer to that is yes. And there's quite a bit, but let's look at one here in particular in Matthew 24:34. It has to do with the days of Noah, which are here with us right now. So it says, "Truly I say to you, this generation shall by no means pass away until all this takes place. The heaven and the earth shall pass away, but my words shall by no means pass away." What are his words? His words are the living words, right? The Torah, prophets, and the Psalms. "But concerning that day and the hour, no one knows." Just like they didn't know when the flood was coming, they didn't know Moses was coming back down off of Sinai. Okay, no one knows the hour in the latter days when the King of Kings returns. "Not even the messengers of the Shemayim, but my Father only. As the days of Noah, so also shall the coming of the Son of Adam be. For as they were in the days before the flood, eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark. And they did not know until the flood came and took them all away. So also shall the coming of the Son of Adam be." So it's going to happen that it's like they didn't know Abraham was coming down off of Sinai with instructions from Yahuwah. And it surprised them because what were they doing? Drinking and marrying and partying and fornication and sinning and committing idolatry. They were just going nuts because they didn't think he was coming. And Noah, same thing. When he was building that ark for 100 years, what were the people doing? Partying and fornication and sinning and idolatry and laughing and mocking and grumbling and carrying on until it started raining. Then they wanted in the ark, probably. "Then two shall be in the field, the one is taken and the one is left. Two shall be grinding at the mill, one is taken and one is left. Watch therefore, for you do not know what hour your master is coming. And know this, that if the master of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. Because of this, be ready too, for the Son of Adam is coming at an hour when you do not expect him." So, what does all that mean? Well, the two in the field, and one's taken and one's left. Two grinding at the mill, one taken and one left. Now, we've been taught that this is the rapture, okay? If you've come out of Christianity, you probably are reading that and saying, "Oh, yeah, that's the rapture." Well, really, it's not, because we all know that the rapture, at least the Nazarene knows the rapture's not true. It's just a made-up myth or ideology that's not true. What this is indicating is who's going to be taken first, okay, when the reapers come. Well, the reapers are coming, and they're going to collect the wicked, okay, the vessels that were made for destruction. They're going to round up all the wicked, okay, or the unrighteous, and bundle them up, prepare for the fire. They're not going to touch the Nazarene or the bride or the elect. They're going to leave them alone, right? Because they're going to be sealed with the Ruach HaKodesh for the day of redemption. So the ones that are being taken are the ones that are being taken by the reapers and prepared for the fire. Okay? And watch therefore, for you do not know what hour your master is coming. And know this, if a master of the house, okay, so this vessel of ours, our body, fleshly body, the temple of Yahuwah, is our house. So there we go with spirituality again. You got to think with the mind of the Spirit and truth. Walk in the Spirit and the truth to understand some of this stuff. Okay, so the house here is in reference to our bodies. You know, our temples, the temple of Yahuwah. And know this, that if the master of the house, that's you, of your body, had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. Broken into by sin. You know, sin, demons, you know, other evil people influenced by other people to commit fornication, whoring, idolatry, be worshiping idols. Some people hurt themselves, put tattoos on, cut themselves, take all their clothes off, cut themselves, and run around naked, acting like a banshee. Yeah, that kind of stuff. They're not taking care of their house, basically. Right? You know what I'm saying? They're not keeping their house up and clean. Because of this, be ready too, for the son of Adam, who is Yahusha, is coming at an hour when you do not expect him. So, yeah, don't be acting like the children of Israel camped at the base of Sinai, or the people that were around Noah when he was building the ark and preparing for the great flood. You know, they didn't believe it that he was coming. So they said they were mocking and scoffing and grumbling and carrying on, doing everything that their little hearts desired and the flesh craved, and forgot all about Yahuwah. And that's what people are doing now. You're seeing it a lot all around you. So we have to be in that final moments. This was it came down within the last few hours or days, perhaps, when Abraham appeared down to the base of the mountain, returned back down. When Noah had completed his assignment, and the Yahuwah closed the door behind him to the ark and locked him in, is the day of Yahusha coming as well. And he will appear in the clouds with his mighty army of heaven, and all eyes will see him, and they will be moaning and groaning when they see that happen, will they not? Same as they were moaning and groaning when they saw Abraham standing there with the instructions of Yahuwah and that horn blowing. It's going to be a horn blowed, the great last trump, when Yahusha returns too, isn't there? I don't know if Noah blew a shofar after the door closed and it started raining or not. I don't recall that, but hey, who knows? But anyway, hopefully you get the point here. We're in the last days, you know, for sure. And, you know, keep watch and keep unstained from the world, okay? Because you never know what hour we're going to hear that last trump go off, be blown by a mighty messenger, okay? Announcing the return of the King of Kings, our Master of Masters. All right, and then all eyes will see him as he appears in the sky with his mighty army, and then the first resurrection will take place, and the changing of those who are still alive at the time of his coming, who has the Ruach HaKodesh in them, will all be changed in mortality and caught up with him in the clouds as he's coming down, ascending down back upon the Mount of Olives, and he will set his feet on the earth. He's going to stand on the earth, okay? And all the wicked ones will be destroyed, most of them. Very few will be left, and then we'll go into the millennium reign under Yahusha. Wow, can't wait for that. I don't know about you, but man, sooner the better. Maranatha! Maranatha! Barakabah B'Shem Yahuwah. So long, Nazarene, beloved of Yahuwah. And remember to stay in love with Yahusha.
Yahusha, living water, Baruch haba B'Shem Yahuwah. Yahusha, living water, Baruch haba B'Shem Yahuwah. I sing out with praise to you. Your name is beautiful to me, my King. I sing out with praise to you. My heart desires to honor you, my Yah. I sing out with praise to you, Yahusha. Living Torah, Baruch haba B'Shem Yahuwah. Yahusha, living Torah, Baruch haba B'Shem Yahuwah. I sing out with praise to you. Your name is beautiful to me, my King. I sing out with praise to you. My heart desires to honor you, my Yah. I sing out with praise to you, Yahusha.